a team, I mean, I just think we grew up a lot from last year.
One heartbeat. Every game, one heartbeat. No matter what happened, we're gonna stick together.
As a team, we came together and we stuck together, and you know, we just kept coming up with win after win, and you know, it got us to where we are today, Big 12 champions.
The 2001 Colorado Buffalo football season was a return to dominance. Head coach Gary Barnett and the Buffs made a commitment to bring back the tradition that defines University of Colorado football. They did just that, achieving their preseason dream of earning the Big 12 title and vying for a national championship. The road to the Big 12 wasn't an easy one, but the moments of hesitation, the casualties of competition, and the one or two plays that just slipped through their fingers were all overshadowed by the success and brilliant teamwork that gave the 2001 Colorado Buffaloes the right to call themselves champions. CU opened the season at home against the Fresno State Bulldogs in the inaugural Jim Thorpe Association Football Classic.
It was a night game. Everybody was just getting ready to go to school. A lot of people, a lot of fans, and so it was a great feeling, you know, playing in that game.
With anticipation and expectations riding high, the Buffaloes found themselves in a hole early. 2 first-quarter fumbles led to a pair of Fresno touchdowns, one by Bulldog quarterback David Carr, the other by tailback Paris Gaines. The two came only 2.5 minutes apart and left CU behind 14-0. Special teams proved to be the spark to get the Buffs on the board with Roman Hollowell's punt return 6 minutes before halftime.
Hollowell gets by one man, gets by two men, 30, 35, 40, got one man to beat the punter. Here's Hollowell at the 30, the 20, the 10, the 5, touchdown, Colorado!
After the Bulldogs answered, Craig Oakes went to work and directed an 11-play, 80-yard drive in the closing minutes of the first half, capping it with an 8-yard strike to John Minardi, who literally bent over backwards to reach the goal line. Oakes finished the game completing 31 of 50 passes for 346 yards, all career best, and became the fastest player in school history to reach 2,000 yards, doing so in only his 9th collegiate game. Oakes hooked up with Minardi again in the second half, this time from 16 yards out to pull the Buffs within 2, but the 2-point conversion failed and the score stood at 24-22. With 5:42 to go in the game, CU mounted a drive led by a 52-yard Cortland Johnson run that left Colorado at the Fresno 2. On 3rd and goal, rolling to his right, Oakes looked for Daniel Graham in the end zone, but was picked off by Bulldog defensive back Devon Banks. And despite holding Fresno to 77 yards in the second half, the Buffaloes went away with their 3rd opening day loss in a row, losing 24-22.
After losing the first game to Fresno State, a lot of people doubted us. The team rallied around each other. We knew that all the work we did in the summer had to pay off some kind of way. So to be in the position that we're in now, it just is a testament to how hard that every player has worked on this team.
The Buffaloes faced skepticism as they went to work in Week 2 against in-state rival Colorado State. After losing their opener and losing to CSU in their past 2 meetings, this game was a must-win. In the new confines of Invesco Field at Mile High, the Buffs ignited what would be the real start of their season.
Under center has a snap, fades straight back, fires out, it's intercepted, and coming to the 20, to the 10, to the 5, it's Donald Strickland for a Colorado touchdown.
Cornerback Donald Strickland's interception for a touchdown in the opening minutes of the game set the stages for a dominant performance on a day when Colorado needed it the most. The Buffs' 7-0 lead grew to 14-0 on the very next drive, finished off by an 18-yard scramble from sophomore Bobby Purify.
Gives to Bobby, and Bobby's at the 10. Bobby's running to the left side. He might get there. 5, touchdown, Purify! What a great run!
The Rams finally got on the board with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter when CSU quarterback DJ Bush connected with his tight end for a 3-yard score. But the damage had already been done, and the Buffs were rolling. CU opened the second half the way they started the game. Senior safety Michael Lewis duplicated Strickland's interception and did him one better.
Bush being chased. He's going to still throw the ball. It's intercepted. And here's Michael Lewis down the sideline. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown.
Jumping into the stands guaranteed the Buffs a celebration penalty, but that did little to take away from a 24-7 lead CU had built midway through the third quarter. They sealed the game behind the strong running of both Purify and sophomore transfer Chris Brown. Brown broke off a 35-yard run to set the table, and Purify broke tackles and dragged Rams to the goal line to put the ball in scoring position.
Here's the snap to Oaks. He gives to Purify now. Here's Purify, 20. Purify gets by 2 men to the 10, to the 5, still on his feet, and pulls 3 men down to the 1-yard line.
Both Purify and Brown rushed for over 100 yards against CSU, with Bobby leading the way with 191 yards and 1 touchdown in the 41-14 victory. A combined 315 yards rushing by the Buffs marked the first time in 6 years CU gained over 300 yards in a regular season game. The foundation was being set for a serious running attack, and the Buffs had the Governor's Cup by their side once again.
All of them have been just tremendous at staying focused on a purpose, that purpose of what they chose as a football team to accomplish. And they were not going to be denied that opportunity.
The Buffs return home to Folsom Field to take on the San Jose State Spartans. In a very lopsided 51-15 victory, the squad found balance. Not since the last time they played the Spartans in 1999 had CU gained over 250 yards rushing and passing in a game. In 2001, they had 560 yards of total offense, 297 through the air, 263 on the ground. CU scored on 6 of its first 8 possessions, including 5 touchdowns. The third one, which was set up by this 30-yard run from Bobby Purify.
Here's the handoff, and Bobby Purify still on his feet, and he breaks to the outside, and he's going to score. He's at the 10, at the 5, touchdown Bobby Purify.
The most spectacular play of the game, though, belonged to cornerback Donald Strickland, who, for the second straight game, intercepted the opposition for a defensive touchdown.
Here's Arroyo, again rolling out. He passes, it's almost, he is intercepted, and it will be a touchdown, Strickland. Oh my goodness, Strickland batted the ball up in the air and then ran under it and then made a dive for the end zone.
Strickland's interception for a touchdown marked the first time in almost 20 years that a CU defender had done so in 2 consecutive games. 2 other firsts in this game were first touchdowns by Colorado receivers. Sophomore Derek McCoy grabbed a 33-yard pass from starter Craig Oaks for his first collegiate score, and 27-year-old senior Matt Brunson hooked up with backup Bobby Pesavento and blew 62 yards for his first touchdown. Chris Brown added 3 scores of his own to run his season total to 4. At 2-1, the Buffs now enjoyed their first winning record since their bowl appearance in 1999. Eager to expand on that, Colorado took on the Kansas Jayhawks on September 22nd, 2 weeks removed from San Jose State due to the tragedy of September 11th, 11 days earlier. After a moment of silence, freshman offensive lineman Gary Moore led a patriotic salute for the 47,000 fans with his rendition of God Bless America. The Kansas game was all about running. CU racked up 338 yards behind 140 from Brown and 113 from senior tailback Cortland Johnson. Yardage attributed to the hard work of the offensive line.
Our offensive line has been doing great all year, and we've stayed injury-free, which is the big thing. And we got some hogs up there that worked their butt off to open up holes.
Brown scored first in the opening quarter on a 7-yard run that capped an 8-play, 80-yard drive. On their next possession, Oaks hooked up with Derek McCoy for the Buffs' biggest passing play of the day.
Here's the fake and a quick pass out to the side is caught. This might go. 40, 50. It's McCoy down the sideline at the 20, at the 15, the 10, pulled out of bounds at the 5-yard line.
After settling for Jeremy Flores' field goal, the Buffs led 10-7. Then Kansas made things interesting. KU quarterback Mario Kinsey hit Roger Ross for a short gain that bounced off several defenders and went 38 yards for the Jayhawks' only touchdown of the game. And right before the half, Kansas kicker Johnny Beck put through a 59-yard field goal, setting a new Folsom Field record and putting KU up 13-10 heading into the break. The second half urgency for points brought the running game to the forefront.
Is going to give it to Johnson this time. Johnson breaks again through the middle. 30-yard line, 25, 20, 15, 10, and Johnson will be driven out of bounds at the 8-yard line.
After trading field goals to open the third, CU put together an 86-yard drive, finishing with Oaks to Graham and putting the game away.
Third down and 8 to go. Oaks back, firing, caught by Graham at the 10, at the 5, touchdown Daniel Graham.
Chris Brown put the finishing touches on the game with a 40-yard sprint for a touchdown in the fourth quarter, a run that proved to be the longest rushing play for a touchdown all season and the longest in almost 3 years. On the upside, Colorado's offense was firing and almost doubled the Jayhawks' production, amassing 524 yards to KU's 278. The defense also proved solid, limiting the Hawks to 76 yards and a mere 3 points in the second half. But the downsides to Game 4 were costly. Senior captain John Minardi went down early in the contest with a ligament tear in his knee, and senior linebacker Jay Sean Sykes found out after the game that he was suffering from a herniated disc, an injury that would sideline the defensive leader for the rest of the season. With the offense losing its senior receiver and the middle of the linebacking core now missing, a trip to Manhattan, Kansas to face the Big 12 powerhouse Wildcats had to rely on one thing: defense.
It was one of the most amazing performances by defense that I think I've ever seen in person. They just physically dominated them, mentally dominated them. It was incredible.
Colorado came into the game unranked and dismantled the Wildcats in their house, snapping their 58-game winning streak against unranked opponents. The Buffalo's D stopped everything the Cats could muster. A team that put up 37 points against number 3 Oklahoma a week before could do nothing against the front line of Colorado.
3 receivers out. Roberson going back. Here comes pressure. It's intercepted. Colorado's got the pass, and it's intercepted by Marcus Harris at the 40-yard line.
While the Kansas State option went nowhere, CU mounted an attack of its own. Craig Oaks scrambled into Wildcat territory and set up this touchdown to Dan Graham, CU's only touchdown of the day.
Back goes Oaks. He's going to throw on the move, and the catch is made. Touchdown by Daniel Graham. Daniel was covered. He was looking over his right shoulder. Oaks threw as he was being hit. Graham turned around and made a one-hand catch in the end zone.
Matched with a pair of Jeremy Flores field goals, the Buffs rode a 13-0 lead into the fourth quarter behind good coverage in the secondary and constant pressure on Kansas State quarterback L. Roberson, forcing him to the ground over and over again.
Roberson back, has some time. Now it breaks down, and the Buffs sack him back at the 21-yard line. That is the second sack on L. Roberson. Tyler Brayton was the man through there to make the tackle.
The Wildcats converted a Craig Oaks interception into their only touchdown, but missed the point after to leave the score at 13-6. With 4 minutes to go, punt returner Roman Hollowell brought out his own brand of magic and helped put the game out of reach.
At the 41, Hollowell comes right up the middle at the 50, 45-yard line. He breaks to the outside. He's at the 30, 25, still on his feet at the 20, at the 10, and pulled down inside the 10-yard line at the 6.
In the 16-6 victory, the Buffs held the Wildcats to 196 yards of total offense. The dominance displayed by the defense was complemented by some timely offense. Chris Brown led the way with 114 yards on 33 carries, and Craig Oaks scrambled 4 times for a monster 70 yards.
Texas A&M was, I mean, it was right in the middle of our big 3 games that we had to play in the middle of the season, and yeah, we got the win in Kansas State, which gave us momentum, to go in and play Texas A&M here.
Colorado returned home to face the undefeated Texas A&M Aggies and did so ranked number 20 in the country. The defense came out firing and repeatedly trapped the Aggies inside their 5-yard line on their first possession. Jeremy Flores opened the scoring with a pair of field goals, one from a personal best 51 yards to give the Buffs an early 6-0 lead. Mark Ferris brought A&M roaring back with 2 touchdown strikes to receiver Jamar Taylor, leaving CU down 14-6 with 5 minutes remaining in the half. To answer, the Buffs had to rely on their historically effective 2-minute drill. Oaks and the Buffs proceeded to march down the field in the final ticks, first finding Cortland Johnson on a crucial 4th down play, then Roman Hollowell for a 14-yard gain. Oaks finally found Derek McCoy in the end zone to cap the drive.
Oaks, looking, touchdown, Buffaloes!
Oaks and McCoy also hooked up on the 2-point conversion to run the score to 14-14 at halftime. Derek McCoy led all receivers on a career-best day with 5 catches for 113 yards, including this sideline streak that nearly broke for another score. Cortland Johnson found the end zone for the first time in 2001 with his 2-yard run in the 3rd quarter. CU had extended its lead to 10, but then saw it slip away when the Aggies rallied for yet another Ferris touchdown, this time to Terrence Murphy. With the Buffs ahead by only 3, A&M once again took over the ball with just over 2 minutes remaining. Corey Masoni came up big for the Buffs, pressuring and sacking Ferris for a 12-yard loss and forcing a fumble that led to one of the highlight moments of 2001.
1st and 10 on the 35, and watch out, loose football, Colorado recovers, the Buffaloes will go the distance, it is Johnson, touchdown, Colorado, celebrate!
In replacing Ja'Shawn Sykes for the 2nd straight week, Joey Johnson filled the shoes, leading the Buffs with 8 tackles. He was named the Big 12's Defensive Player of the Week. Traveling to Texas on October 20th posed all kinds of problems for the Buffs. Craig Oaks was suffering from post-concussion symptoms and relinquished the quarterback duties to senior Bobby Pesavento. And though the Buffs went toe-to-toe with the Longhorns for much of the first half, in the end, costly turnovers did them in. A Cortland Johnson touchdown with 8:32 left in the first half moved the Buffs within 3, but that was as close as they would get. Cedric Benson registered the first 100-yard game against the Buffs this season. The Horns took the game 41-7 in front of 83,000 fans. One highlight from that game was Daniel Graham's 58 yards receiving, which moved him into first place on the all-time yardage list for tight ends. Oklahoma State provided an opportunity for the Buffs to rebound and regain the energy they had going into the heart of their Big 12 schedule. They had won 2 of 3 big games thus far, and traveling to Stillwater was not to be overlooked. Oaks came in to start the game and led the Buffs on a 99-yard drive to begin the first half. Matt Brunson highlighted the march by hauling in a short pass and racing 74 yards for the score. It would be CU's only score of the half. A series of debacled plays brought the Cowboys right back into the game. A missnap punt sailed into the end zone for a safety, and Bobby Pesavento was intercepted in the final minute of play by Dwayne Levels, who promptly returned it 57 yards for the score. Halftime, it was OSU 16, the Buffs 7.
The highlight of this season would probably have to be the Oklahoma State game, just because as badly as we played in the first half of that game, to still find a way to pull it out. I mean, in the second half, it wasn't nothing the coaches said at halftime. It was everything the players said. We played for each other all year long, and it's basically what we said at halftime. And just the way we pulled that game out as badly as we played, I think that epitomized this team and this season.
Colorado, though, was not about to be denied. Its goal of a Big 12 championship was not about to be destroyed by miscues and lack of focus. Marcus Houston provided the first burst of life when he took the handoff from Pesavento and scrambled 16 yards for his first touchdown of the season.
Going to give to Houston. Cracks to the outside, cuts to the inside. 10, 5. Houston goes to the end zone. Marcus Houston with a 16-yard run for a touchdown.
Colorado's defense stepped up also. Big plays by Michael Lewis kept the Cowboys in check and gave the CU offense a chance to regain its momentum. Bobby Purify rattled off consecutive runs of 17, 11, and 14 yards to move the Buffs into OSU territory.
Second down and 8 yards to go. Ball down around the 22-yard line of Oklahoma State. Pesavento back. Here's the pass. Graham's got it. 5-yard line. Touchdown, Daniel Graham.
On that play, Colorado was whistled for 2 penalties, one for celebration and one for unsportsmanlike conduct, giving the Buffs an extra point try from the OSU 33-yard line. Looking at one of the longest conversions in NCAA history, Gary Barnett decided to go for 2.
Pesavento's going to just air it out. There it goes to the end. He's got a man. It's caught. 2-point conversion. It's McCoy. Derek McCoy for a 2-point conversion.
Pesavento to McCoy put the Buffs up 22-19. Lewis and the defense solidified the game, and Colorado left Stillwater with a hard-fought last-minute victory. CU hosted the Missouri Tigers to begin their run at the title.
We looked at that game like they were in our way. After the Okie State game, everyone was in our way to the Big 12 championship. So we just took it one game at a time. Missouri, we needed that win. We got the win.
Missouri started strong, putting up 2 quick scores against the Buffaloes late in the second quarter, one coming on a 59-yard interception for touchdown by Mizzou's Kevin Johnson. Bobby Pesavento started his second game at quarterback and rallied back in the final 2 minutes of the second half, aided by the soft touch of his tight end Daniel Graham.
Pesavento fakes to Houston, bootlegs out to the right, gonna throw it. Daniel Graham, one-handed catch. Daniel the ball was a little bit in front of him, and he just makes a one-handed catch and comes down at the 42.
Matt Brunson once again proved his speed and versatility and put CU on the board to close the gap to 14-7.
Here's the snap. Pesavento again being rushed. Good catch by Brunson, and he's going to score.
After a Roman Hollowell punt return and a long run by Cortland Johnson, Pesavento hooked up with Graham again, this time for 6, and tied the game at 14. Missouri elected to finish the half not by taking a knee, but instead forcing the ball on the ground. Michael Lewis flew up from his safety position and stripped the ball from a Tiger tailback and into the arms of cornerback Phil Jackson. Jeremy Flores converted 3 plays later, and the Buffs went into the locker room having scored 17 points in the final 1 minute and 55 seconds of the first half. Cortland Johnson and Bobby Purify came out in the second half and took control of the Buffs' ground attack. Purify started it off with a 31-yard rumble to the 6. Cortland, not to be outdone, then put on a show. He registered big run after big run, breaking tackles and running around and through the Tiger defense, including a 15-yarder for a score with less than a minute left in the third quarter. Hollowell then iced the game when he took a Missouri punt 69 yards for his second return for a touchdown this season.
Here comes the punt. Hollowell floats back. Great punt. Hollowell at the 32. Right up the middle. Gets a block. 40, 50. To the 40. He's gone. 10, 5. It's all over.
Their final regular season road game pitted the Buffs against the Iowa State Cyclones. Cortland Johnson had taken over the second half of the Missouri game. He took over the entire game against the Cyclones.
What a toss. Cortland Johnson, huge yardage. Dump it on the little quick screen. Johnson, big yardage. First down to the 37.
Cortland became the first player in Colorado history to both rush for 100 yards and catch passes for 100 yards in the same game. Pesavento and Cortland hooked up 6 times for 105 yards and a touchdown, including this 50-yarder that threaded the Iowa State defense. Jeremy Flores continued to knock down field goals, adding 4 in the game, and Cedric Cormier, the senior wide receiver, caught his first touchdown pass, putting CU up 10-7 in the first quarter. Hidden in Cortland's accomplishment was maybe the most pivotal play of the game. Facing an obvious field goal situation, Gary Barnett opted for the fake. Holder Jason Burianek pulled back the snap and rifled a pass to crossing Daniel Graham, who hauled it in and secured the first down. From there on out, it was all Buffs. Cortland finished the day with 172 yards rushing on 27 carries and a touchdown to go along with his 105 yards receiving, and number 21 ranked Colorado improved to 8-2 on the season, 6-1 in the Big 12, setting up a showdown for the North Division title with forever rival Nebraska.
Well, we had a great deal of confidence going into the Nebraska game. We felt like we'd had good preparation. We felt like we had a real focused team. And I think as much as anything, we really simplified our game plan on both sides. And kids had a lot of confidence that we were going to go let them win the game.
It's almost like, I guess you could say, playing against your older brother. You want to beat him so bad, and you know, all the years growing up, he's just been beating up on you, and you know, your opportunity came, and we took advantage of it.
The Nebraska game proved to be a culmination of a season of hard work for the Buffs. The Huskers came into the game ranked number 1 in the BCS standings. A victory for Colorado would propel the Buffs to the Big 12 championship game the following weekend at Texas Stadium. Feeling their goal was about to be fulfilled, 53,000 plus jammed Folsom Field to witness one of the greatest displays of rivalry and domination in Colorado football history. The CU defense set the tone early against eventual Heisman winner Eric Crouch.
There is motion to the far side. Here's Crouch running, pulled down behind the 15-yard line. Sean Puff goes flying through there and drops him for a 3-yard loss at the 14.
Just going out there as a defense, starting the game, setting the tempo, it was just, I've never played in a game so loud before. You know, I was trying to get the call, and my head was ringing, it was so loud. And then, you know, the very first play of the game, Sean Tufts just came through the line and made a big play on Eric Crouch. And right there, I think that set the tempo of the game.
Bobby Purify opened the scoring when he took a first down handoff 39 yards right up the middle, giving CU a lead they would never relinquish the entire afternoon.
I guess the first touchdown was probably the best one, just because, you know, we broke it off for I don't know how many yards, like 50 or something, and it was just to know that we got the first one, and we wanted to start the game out fast and get our momentum going early, because that was our key to the game.
With a 7-0 lead, the Buffs had the momentum they needed to take it to Nebraska. On the ensuing kickoff, linebacker Aaron Killian came down and laid a devastating hit on returner Josh Davis. And 2 plays later, Donald Strickland stood up to Darian Diedrich and forced a fumble that cornerback Roderick Sneed recovered to put the Buffs right back in scoring position.
Motion by Derek McCoy. Back goes Casavano. Bobby's letting it go to the end zone. It's a touchdown! The pass completed to Daniel Graham. They come right back, 21 yards to the score.
Scoring quickly seemed to be the theme for the entire game. Now up 14-0, the Buffs were eager to get the ball back. On the Huskers' next 2 possessions, they went nowhere. Joey Johnson stepped up and dropped Crouch for a big loss, and CU's front line held on a 4th and short to get the ball back on downs. Pesavento and Graham connected again on a crossing route that the All-American tight end turned into a huge play down the sidelines, setting up yet another CU touchdown and sending the stadium into a frenzy. The louder the fans got, the harder the offensive line played, pushing red jerseys off the ball and opening up holes for Purify and a resurgent Chris Brown.
Pesavento again to Brown. Tracks it back, 5-yard line. Touchdown! Chris Brown, 12 yards for the score.
Colorado closed the book on the first quarter, outgaining Nebraska 233 yards to 73. And with a 28-3 lead, the Buffs were just getting warmed up.
Back goes Pesavento. He's going to throw it downfield. McCoy's got it. 10-yard line, 5-yard line, out of bounds, down at the 1.
Brown's second score of the day capped the drive and gave CU a 32-point lead. The Huskers answered, though. Crouch broke out some double reverse trickery, finding tight end Tracy Wistrom downfield, setting up a rumble from fullback Steve Krewald. With the Huskers driving again, senior captain Justin Bannon stepped up into a gap and registered a lasting image of his career.
Well, for a while there, I'd kind of been setting the center up when the guards would pull, I'd cross the center's face. I wouldn't try and backdoor it like I did on that play. So he's expecting me to try and cross his face, and I'd read before the play that this guard was going to pull. So you know, so I'm on backdoor, and I just shot through the gap, and no one could touch me. And I had a good hit on the guy, and do that in my last home game. I just lost all control. This is one of my favorite plays ever as a Buff.
Nebraska would eventually score on that drive, but missed the extra point wide left. Colorado now led 35-16. As scoring quickly was the theme for the Buffs, they roared back, hitting Graham for a big gain down the sidelines, and then handing the ball off to Brown and letting him run right through the black shirt defense.
First down, Pesavento to Brown. Chris Brown, 30, 25, 20, 10, 5, touchdown!
Brown finished the half with 92 yards and 3 touchdowns, and the Buffs left the field leading 42-23.
We kept our heads, we were level-headed, we were focused, and we wanted to make sure we put that game far enough away that we had a comfortable lead going into the fourth quarter. So every man on this team was focused. No one let anyone down. Coming out of halftime, we truly believed that the score was 0-0.
The third quarter was relatively quiet by the standard that had been set in the first half. Nebraska came calling early with the ball on the Colorado 1, but the Huskers would not score.
Here's the give to Diedrich. He dives over the top. Fumble, I believe. Colorado comes out of there with it. First down, Colorado. They have stopped Nebraska on the goal line.
They were kind of gaining momentum, honestly, and marched on the field, and they were on the goal line. And we decided, we took that I don't care attitude and went out there and caused a big play. I mean, it was a huge turning point in the game. Without that, they pulled within 6, I think. That was just a real big turning point.
Donald Strickland's hit kept the Huskers out of the end zone and gave even more life to the Buffs' drive. Pesavento highlighted the quarter with a scramble deep in Colorado territory, giving his team the room it needed to put the nail in the coffin and finish off the Huskers. But the story of the day was Chris Brown. His 3 touchdowns in the first half inspired the sophomore tailback to duplicate his effort in the second, scoring 3 more times in the span of just over 3 minutes, one of which was set up by an interception by senior captain Michael Lewis.
Crouch, still with the football, looking long over the middle, intercepted. It's Michael Lewis, 25-yard line, 20, 15, 10, and out of bounds.
Brown took the pitch on the next play and punished ahead 13 yards for the score. The very next drive resulted in the very same outcome. Crouch's pass was deflected by linebacker Sean Tufts right into the arms of streaking Joey Johnson, who brought the ball to the Nebraska 34-yard line. Then, behind the blocking of fullback Brandon Drum, Brown and the Buffs made history.
Pesavento giving to Brown. Brown pushes a man. 5. He's in. Touchdown number 6.
The 6 touchdowns scored by Brown set a school record, as did the 36 points he put up. By scoring 62 points against the Cornhuskers, CU had racked up the most points ever scored against Nebraska, a feat almost as satisfying as the victory itself. When all was said and done, Gary Barnett and the Buffs sat back and watched Folsom Field erupt. A 26-point win against the #1 team in the country, their biggest rival, their first win against Nebraska in some 10 years, and most importantly, they earned their ticket to the Big 12 championship. Texas Stadium on December 1st was supposed to be a neutral site for the Big 12 finale, but it was anything but that. Some 7,000 Colorado fans held their corner of the stadium and did battle with more than 55,000 Longhorn fans in a revenge game of sorts, a chance to beat a Texas team who had spoiled the Buffs a month ago in Austin.
It's like 65 guys going in there and taking on the whole state of Texas and getting it done. You know, becoming Big 12 champs. That's probably just as memorable as the Nebraska game.
Colorado came into the game ranked number 9, but it was number 3 Texas that scored first, taking the lead with 10 minutes to go in the first quarter. But as in every game this season, the Buffs were ready with some fire of their own.
Here's Sims back. He's going to fire and intercepted at the 20, at the 30, at the 40. It's Aaron Killian. He's got Sims to beat. 30, 25, 20, and he's caught from behind all the way down at the 13-yard line.
Linebacker Aaron Killian's interception and race down the field set up Colorado's first score, a diving effort from tailback Chris Brown.
He's running to the 5. He's down to the goal line. Scores! Touchdown! 10-yard run by Brown, just coming off the left side.
Brown again added with a long run to set up a 39-yard field goal by Jeremy Flores, giving CU a 10-7 lead, a lead they would protect the rest of the game. Texas quarterback Chris Sims, who had burned the Buffs for 264 yards and 3 touchdowns in their first meeting, was stifled by the Colorado defense. Joey Johnson picked off Sims in the second quarter for their second turnover of the day. Bobby Purify supplied the power on the ensuing drive.
He's at the 50, he's at the 40, he's at the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. He is hit and pushed out of bounds inside the 5-yard line.
Brown took the ball from there and ran the score up to 16-7 with his second touchdown of the game. Sims again found himself in trouble when he lined up against CU lineman DeAndre Fluellen.
On the draw, Sims keeps the ball. Sims loses it. It's on the ground. Picked up, and Colorado will have it at the Texas 21.
Quarterback Bobby Pesavento hit Daniel Graham on the very next play to pad the Buffs' lead to 22-10. 12 points just wasn't enough, though, and the defense was not done giving Sims all he could handle.
Pressure on Sims. He's going to deliver. Intercepted. And at the 50 is Medford Moore. He's at the 40. He's at the 30-yard line, still on his feet, and he's going to score. He got by 2 men. Colorado touchdown.
The Buffs' lead was now 29-10 on Medford Moore's first career interception and a 64-yard touchdown return. Sims was done for the day. Texas backup Major Applewhite came on in relief and showed why he is the Big 12's all-time leader in total offense. He hooked up with B.J. Johnson on a 79-yard reception to put Texas back on the board and bring the score to 36-23 with less than 14 minutes left in the game.
Here comes the pressure. Pesavento letting it go long up the sideline. It is caught. It's McCoy making the catch down at the Texas 13-yard line.
That catch by Derek McCoy set up Brown's third touchdown of the game, where he followed senior captain Andre Girard 11 yards for the score. Trying to put the game out of reach, Colorado attempted a fake punt that instead went for 6 the opposite way. Texas' Roderick Babers picked off the pass and went 54 yards. It was now 36-30. But in the end, it was kicker Jeremy Flores who put the game out of reach. He nailed a 43-yard field goal with just under 2 minutes remaining to put the Buffs ahead by 2 scores and gave them claim at the best of the Big 12.
Congratulations, Buff. You have a great champion here. You have a team that represents the way it's supposed to be. They did it the way it's supposed to be done. They have great heart, and there isn't enough you can say about these young guys. They are unbelievable. I'll tell you what, I'm so proud of you. And we got it!
They achieved the goal they'd set out to accomplish 4 long months ago, the entire time carrying with them a statue of Texas Stadium. With each victory, a new sticker commemorating the game and motivating toward the next. Senior Michael Lewis added the one team that had eluded them, the Longhorns, to the top of their trophy, a trophy to go with their Big 12 Championship Cup. Now ranked number 3 in the country, the Buffs were invited to the Fiesta Bowl in Tempe, Arizona, to take on the Pac-10 champion Oregon Ducks in a game with possible national championship implications. On New Year's Day, the Buffs started strong behind a one-handed grab by Cortland Johnson that chewed up enough yardage to set up Brandon Drum's 1-yard touchdown plunge. The 7-0 lead would not last long and would be CU's only chance in the game. Oregon and quarterback Joey Harrington proved to be too strong on this day. He and the Ducks rattled off 38 unanswered points behind 500 yards of total offense. Oregon won the game 38-16. At 10-3, the Colorado Buffaloes had returned to the dominant team it has been long respected for, behind the strong leadership of its seniors and especially the 4 captains, Andre Girard, Michael Lewis, Justin Bannon, and John Minardi. The Buffs were able to achieve greatness once again, their landmark victory against Nebraska, the rematch win against Texas, Colorado's first Big 12 title, and a top 10 finish among college football's elite. 2001 was a year of focus, determination, and desire for the prize, a prize that now defines the future of Colorado Buffaloes football.